Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. As always, I've got a wonderful guest with me. Now, I know you, but go ahead and introduce yourself to the folks.
Well, thank you, Senora, for having me. I'm Hector Guzman. I'm the music director of the Angelo Symphony Orchestra, and just here having fun making music finally after so long of not being able to. So it's a wonderful feeling to have music live again.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about, your job, what you do, because you're kind of in and out, you're everywhere.
Well, I conduct 4 symphony orchestras, 4 professional symphony orchestras. San Angelo is one of them, and then Plano and Irving in the Dallas area, and then the Corpus Christi Symphony also. And so, yeah, I'm all over the place, and I'm the guy who's at the front waving the baton. And in fact, people don't recognize me from the front, but from the back, because I'm always with the back towards the audience. But it's a wonderful job because I get to perform with wonderful musicians and great music and in a beautiful hall.
Yeah.
And that is really special. And so very, very grateful for that opportunity.
That's fantastic. So let's go over a little bit, how you got into this and what keeps you coming back.
You mean into conducting?
Yeah.
Well, I was 5 years old. My dad was a musician. My grandfather was a musician. My brother is a musician. My sisters are musicians. So it runs in the family.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But most of them took the pop side, popular music side of it. But I took the classical side. Since I was very young, I started playing the piano when I was 5, and then when I was 11 or 12, when I was able to reach the pedals, I switched to the organ.
Yeah.
So without really knowing, I wanted something bigger every time. I was not satisfied with those instruments, and finally, when at 17 I was able to conduct the choir and the orchestra, I felt like a fish in the water. I feel very comfortable.
Yeah.
Telling people what to do, sort of, and I felt that I was called to do that, and ever since I've been conducting professionally for a long, long time, and it continues. So that's how I started.
That is amazing. So for those who may not understand, the music just doesn't come up and it's just here and it just happens. Tell us a little bit about what goes into all of that, the preparation.
Well, the challenge is that when you have about an average between 50 or 70 musicians in front of you, and they're all professionally trained musicians, the challenge is to convince each one of them that there's only one interpretation that's yours. Because each one has a different idea. So the challenge of a conductor is to put it all together. It's like a coach.
All right.
The coach doesn't play in there, but he commands. He tells the strategy, to play and win the game.
Yeah.
Same thing with the music. I strategize the rehearsals. I mean, there's a lot of effort in musicians. That's when we put the music together, because not everything just like magic, it happens and that's really pretty. No, you have to put it together.
Yeah.
And the music of Bach, Beethoven, Brahms, Tchaikovsky, it's very difficult, very difficult. And so you need professional players to perform it, but then you need somebody that puts it all together, tells people about the balance and about interpretation, what maybe you play longer, shorter, and just to make the product as best as possible. So that's what I do.
Wow. Yeah. So it feels like magic at the end, but
we're supposed to. Not a nightmare, but a dream come true.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. Yeah. So speaking of shows and hard work, y'all have a show coming up this Saturday.
Yes, Saturday, November 6th is our first concert of the season, of the new season. We performed somehow concerts last season, but you know how difficult that was with the pandemic. We couldn't have an audience. We had to have social distance in the orchestra. We have to reduce the number of musicians because of that. And it was just simply a nightmare. Many musicians lost their jobs. They had to start doing something else. They struggled. All of us struggled tremendously. But we decided to start in November, not in October, which we usually do, just to give it another month of precaution.
Yeah.
But now, we still follow, all of the rules and regulations, guidelines, health, and all of that. But it's a very secure, very safe environment. And this November 6th, we start our season with a concept that I've never done before.
Okay.
And that is called Women in Art and Women in Music, because everything about the concerts relates to women.
Yeah.
So
and there's a lot you don't realize. We were talking a little bit about it earlier that it's kind of a male-dominated, the classical music realm. It's kind of a male-dominated area.
Yeah. If you talk about composers in classical music, well, everybody thinks of Beethoven, Mozart, Tchaikovsky, Brahms, all that. They're all male composers. Well, that was the way it was. I mean, just nothing wrong with it. It's just that's the way it was. That's the way it is sometimes. But people don't realize that there are women composers out there, women soloists, women artists that are just equally as talented. And I thought for San Angelo, that would be a very nice way to start the season. And so that's what we're having.
That's amazing. Yeah, so let's get into it. Who all is participating and what all is going to happen at this show?
Okay, well, we performed 3 works by 3 women composers. Joan Tower, who is still living, by the way, marvelous composer. She composed several, let's call it fanfares.
Okay.
So the first piece is her fanfare number 1. Let me give you a background. There's a big, very well-known piece by Aaron Copland called Fanfare for the Common Man. And so Joan Tower took that and made it Fanfare for the Uncommon Woman.
Yeah, I kind of did a little twist on it. Huh?
Well, it was a play on words, and it worked. And then she's made a few of those fanfares for the Uncommon Woman. So we're going to do the first one that she made. It's a very short piece, maybe 4 minutes long. Okay. But it's very bombastic for brass and percussion and all of that. And that starts our concert. Yeah. It's a really very intense piece of music. And so Fanfare for the Uncommon Woman by Joan Tower. And she was actually in San Angelo many years ago. Oh. We performed one of her pieces, and she came and actually conducted
my goodness.
Her own piece. Wow. Very talented, unique woman, and continues to be a very prolific composer. She's well known all over the world. Very talented woman. Then the second piece that we do is a symphony by American composer Amy Beach. Amy was a composer, a pianist in the 19th century and composed several pieces, works and all of that. And this is probably her best known composition. Her symphony number 2 called the Gaelic Symphony has Irish and Scottish atmosphere themes, and is very, very pretty. In that type of environment in the 19th century, there were almost no women composers, almost none, and she was very successful, and people don't know that. And she was an American composer. Wow! And when you hear her compositions, you scratch your head and say, "Wow, that is really nice." So see, we don't know these things, and we need to feature music that is very interesting and composed by American composers and women composers. So that's an additional point of interest. And then the last piece on the second half is a piano concerto by another woman composer, Clara Schumann. Robert Schumann, the famous composer pianist that Clara was married to. Okay. He was very famous and all of that, but equally as famous as a pianist and as a composer was Clara Schumann. In fact, sometimes she was actually more well known than her famous husband, and very widely recognized as a wonderful pianist. She was very famous in Europe, especially at that time, again 19th century. And Clara Schumann composed this piano concerto that she performed, just as long as her career lasted, and became one of the best known piano concertos composed by a woman. Clara Schumann Piano Concerto. In addition to that, the soloist for this piano concerto, it's another lady, another woman, 18-year-old piano virtuoso Daniela Liebman.
Yes, and we have a picture of her. I mean, she's absolutely gorgeous there.
Oh, there she is, yes. Oh, well, she's not only lovely, but she's just an outstanding pianist.
Yes, you were talking, she's already admitted to Juilliard?
Yeah, this is her first semester at Juilliard at age 18.
Wow.
And I performed with her several times, and she's just brilliant. She was born in Guadalajara, in Mexico. But her mom is Mexican, and her dad is an American citizen. So, when they had opportunity to come to the States, then she started piano lessons over here in this country, and has just taken off. She is really outstanding. This is a talent a major talent that I think is going to make some noise.
Yeah, for sure. And so they can see her this Saturday.
That's right. And she's the soloist for our last piece, the piano concerto by Clara Schumann. But there's more.
Oh, there's more?
Yes. Well, we wanted to have, of course, women composers, a woman soloist, famous compositions by women, and American composers. But in addition to that, Julie Raymond, she's an artist from this area. I think she lives in the San Angelo. She is going to be featured during the symphony by Amy Beach, doing her own art. She's going to be painting while we perform. So that's an additional point of interest, and I think that is kind of very unique. Because you usually don't have that. I mean, you just have the music, that's it. No, well, she will be painting.
Oh my goodness!
Doing a work of art of hers while the orchestra performs. So that's, I think that makes this concert very interesting. So people should go and attend. Just mere curiosity, just
exactly.
Like, wow, women composers. I have no idea that we were so rich in that. Said, yeah, a woman soloist and then a woman artist, all in one concert. So I think we're going to be having a lot of fun.
Exactly. Yeah. And so the title is truly fitting, Women in Art and Music.
That's right.
Y'all are featuring them all.
Yeah.
So, okay, we got to talk about how to get tickets, where to get tickets, how do people come to this?
Yeah, well, it's very easy. Our website is sanangelosymphony.org. You just go in there, and all information about tickets, where you want to sit, and they're very useful there at the office. You can call the office also at 658-5877. Well, 325 658-5877, or you can go to our office right there at City Hall. We have a brand new office there that's brand 2 years. We've been there 2 years. People are very helpful there. Our staff is wonderful. And you can choose your own seat, and they can tell you the different prices that we have. But yes, sanangelosymphony.org, the office at City Hall, or 658-5877. Those are the three ways you can get in touch with us.
Fantastic. And this will be at the Performance Hall?
Yes, at the Murphy Performance Hall. And I can see the stage there behind me.
Yeah, we're practically there right now.
Yes, and the orchestra behind me. So, so people, amazingly enough, when I talk to people, especially here in San Angelo, said, I've never been to a symphony concert. Oh. I said, oh, well, you should. I said, well, I think that sometimes I get into conversations. Well, I always think that classical music is for, elite connoisseurs. I said, oh no, that could be nothing can be further from the truth. It's you know, music was made for everyone,
right?
And it's great music, and then when they go and they listen and they like, wow, you know, they're surrounded by wonderful people in a beautiful hall. It's absolutely gorgeous. They restored it, you know, 2 or 3 years ago, and they did a wonderful job. You listen to great music. You have a professional symphony orchestra in front of you. It's always a lot of fun. So you should go. You should
definitely.
go.
It's just the energy that's
right.
there, you know, between the audience and the musicians. It's just, I mean, it's hard to describe.
And not only that, we our symphony music is not just piano concertos, symphonies, and all that. No, the next concert is in December. It's Christmas music.
Oh yeah,
it's Christmas music with your typical carols and even a sing-along, a visit from Santa, the whole thing. That we have pops concerts. We have a salute to Western music later on, jazz. So we do everything. So I think. You know, always make it fun and interesting for any type of audience. And of course, you know, your symphony is great, wonderful musicians, so you should hear it.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, okay. There's a lot more that y'all have coming up, and we're going to have more with Hector. But that's all we have time for right now, unfortunately. But like I said, we're going to have more with Hector coming up. So he's going to be back. So y'all need to make sure to stay with us and tune in to learn all the great things happening at the symphony. Now, do you have any final thoughts or messages you want to share?
Well, it's safer, and people need to go out and enjoy music once again, not on the radio or streamed, but live. So let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, great way to end the show. Let's do it, folks. All right. We'll see you at the symphony, and hey, we'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody.